Are you ready to go? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, we are happy to meet you at our scientific conference, Consolidated Approach to Rescue Firefighter Training. My name is Vadim Kudryshov, and I am the head of Research and Development Department of the University of Civil Protection of the Republic of Belarus, and I will be hosting today's event. For today we got a lot of interesting reports, and it was very hard to choose the most interesting of them. So we are very grateful to those of you who found an opportunity to participate in our event, and we sincerely understand those of you who could and wanted to, but unfortunately have no opportunity to participate in it. Today's conference is devoted to the firefighters and rescue training, and we've got 9 interesting reports from Belarus, Europe, China, Azerbaijan, and Uzbekistan. Due to schedule of our conference, we've got only 15 minutes to every report, so please be careful to fit in it. Unfortunately, we will not have the Q&A session, so if you will have any questions and suggestions, so feel free to send it via email or chat window of our program. Please be sure that we will try to answer any of your questions and suggestions. And now I would like to give the screen to the opening speech of the head of our university, Ivan Polivoda.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, today the University of Civil Protection is holding a conference aimed to sharing experience in the field of training specialists for the prevention and elimination emergencies. It's very important for us that there will be a consolidated approach to the training of rescuers and firefighters. Thus, we would like to expand the scope of possible cooperation between institutions of different states, as well as provide opportunities to experience sharing. We received a large number of applications, and in our opening we selected the most relevant reports which will be presented for your attention. I would like to wish all of you success and good luck.
So let's move to our plenary session and to our reports. The University of Civil Protection of the Ministry of Emergency Situation of Belarus is a well-known educational establishment that provides a lot of activities for firefighters, rescues, and society training in emergency prevention and elimination. So, the first report goes to Belarus, and Nikolai Lysiuk will have the screen with the report the educational opportunities of the University of Civil Protection of the Ministry of Emergency Situations of the Republic of Belarus. Please, Nikolai, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm glad to see you. My name is Nikolai Lysiuk. I'm head of International Cooperation Sector of the University, and I want to introduce you educational opportunity of the University of Civil Protection of the Ministry for Emergency Situations of the Republic of Belarus. Next slide, please. For the achievement of significant results in the field of quality, our university was awarded prizes of the government of the Republic of Belarus for achievement in the field of quality in 2015 and 2018. Next slide, please. Our university includes 4 branches. Lyceum at the university, Gomel branch, International Rescue Training Center, Educational Center of Life Safety. About International Rescue Training Center and Educational Center of Life Safety, more detailed information will be provided in next report of our conference. Next slide, please. I'm briefly giving information about these branches. The main task of Educational Center of Life Safety is training of citizens in the field of life safety provision. Next slide, please. The university provides training specialists for the Ministry for Emergency Situations in the field of firefighters and rescuers, officer personnel, management personnel, research and teaching staff, and also for other ministries in the field of industrial safety engineers, fire safety engineers, the specialist of civil protection, occupational health and safety specialists. Next slide, please. Our branch, International Rescue Training Center, includes 43 special training places. Next slide, please. The main task of our International Rescue Training Center is training in the working profession rescue firefighters of the 7th category and training in 12 working professions. Next slide. It's also able qualification improvement on more than 100 educational programs. Next slide, please. The main task of our Gomel branch is provided training on 6th grade driving in the field of driving special fire technique. Next slide, please. In the framework of international cooperation, the International Rescue Training Center was established on the basis of Institute of Retraining and Professional Development, and to date the center has trained over the 5,600 foreign specialists from 70 countries. Next slide, please. 70 countries all over the world. Next slide, please. If we will speak about the educational process of our university, we can imagine our educational process as a vertical-oriented system from bachelor degree to Doctor of Science. Next slide, please. On the first stage of higher education, which named is bachelor degree, is able to training on 2 specialties: fire and industrial safety, and prevention and elimination of emergency situations. This training course can be provided in 3 years in abbreviated form, 4 years in intramural form, and 5 years in absentia form. Next slide, please. On second stage of higher education, is named master degree. It's able for specialties, management of protection in emergency situations, information and analytical support of the activities of Ministry for Emergency Situations of the Republic of Belarus, emergency elimination and civil defense, and information communication support of life safety. This training course can be provided in intramural form in 1 year, in absentia form in 2 years. Next slide, please. In the field of training of scientific and pedagogical personnel, must be completed the next way. First, scientific master course. After finishing adjunct, it's a PhD degree. Adjunct must be finished specialized counsel for dissertation defense, and after it will be able doctorate degree. Next slide, please. If we will speak about adjunct each PhD degree, it's able for specialization: fire and industrial safety, safety in emergencies, civil defense, labor protection, fuel and chemical industry. This training course can be provided in 5 years in application form, 3 years in full-time form, and 4 years in absentia form. And also it's able a doctorate degree in 2 specialties: fire and industrial safety and safety in emergency. This training course can be provided in 5 years in application form. Next slide, please. The training of foreign citizens provided on bachelor degree, master degree, and PhD degree in our university. The next slide, please. In the field of retraining of personnel, it's able for specialty, engineering safety of construction object, industrial safety, specialty labor protection in the sector of the non-production sphere, and elimination of emergencies and civil defense. The training course on these specialties can be provided in 18 months. Next slide, please. Our educational process includes practical-oriented methods, which can be realized with using of special training facilities, Also, firefighting practice in a real department of the Ministry for Emergency Situations of the Republic of Belarus in the field of fire prevention and fire elimination, and also conducting exercises on the basis of our international rescue training center. Next slide, please. Our educational process is computerized. We also use special laboratory equipment, access to a specialized database, and also virtual reality technologies, with using some components of our software. Next slide, please. If we will speak about software, the university staff developed specialized software in the field of fire prevention, fire elimination, fire investigation, and also civil protection system. Next slide, please. The specialized audiences of our university provide a high quality of educational process. We have the big quantity of special audiences on the base of our university and our branches. Next slide, please. In the framework of international cooperation, the university cooperates with Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, International Atomic Energy Agency, International Civil Defense Organization. Next slide, please. Since 2009, the university has been a full member of the European Fire Service Colleges Association, and for achievement in the development of fire education, the staff of our university in 2015 was awarded the EFSCA Gold Medal. Next slide, please. Also, the university is the basis organization of the member states of Commonwealth of Independent States for training personnel in the field of prevention and elimination of emergency situations. Next slide, please. In the framework of our cooperation, on March 2017, was signed an agreement on cooperation between the University of Civil Protection of the Ministry for Emergency Situations of the Republic of Belarus and the Institute of Public Safety of Tsinghua University, and also a memorandum of understanding between the University of Civil Protection of the Ministry for Emergency Situations and Beijing Global Safety Technology. Within the framework of our cooperation, on March 2019, on the basis of the University of Civil Protection was opened the Belarusian Chinese Research Center for Public Safety. Next slide, please. Dear colleagues, thank you for your attention. I will be able to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you, Nikolai. I should repeat that Q&A session won't be at our conference, and your questions you may send via email or the chat window. So, Nikolai, so much activities you enumerated, and I hope it would be nice to show some more reports from our university to understand more particularly. And now I would like to move to Europe. The University of Civil Protection had a rich history of mutual partnership with the Organization of Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. And we are grateful to see you at our conference despite all today's difficulties. We believe that our future partnership will be as strong as it's strong today. So I would like to give the screen to Anton Martinuk with a report, the implementation of Article 10 of the Chemical Weapons Convention in cooperation with state parties to the Convention. Please, Anton, the screen is yours. We don't hear you.
Okay. Does it work now?
Okay. Yes, now we hear you. Please.
Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anton Martinuk. I'm a senior program officer of the technical secretariat of the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, and I'm delighted to share with you some of their activities that the technical secretariat is implementing with regard to their education of the first responders. But first, let me try to share the screen with you, and then yeah, open my presentation. Can you all see it now?
Yes, we've got it.
Okay, so you see my screen. Excellent. So we'll talk about the implementation of the Article 10 of the Chemical Weapon Convention, which goes specifically to their subject and then the main theme of our today's conference. So as you probably know, their main pillars of their Chemical Weapon Convention include their disarmament, which is done through the destruction and verification of their existing stockpiles and then abandoned chemical weapons. It goes then further to our prohibition of re-emergence of the chemical weapons, non-proliferation regime that's been done through verification activities. Then we have our pillar, which I have the honor to represent today towards our conference. It goes about assistance and protection against the chemical weapons. And the last but not least is their international cooperation between their scientific societies of different countries, regions, the industries, chemists, and so on and so forth. So now straight to our, Pillar 3, assistance and protection against the chemical weapons. So first and foremost, it's important to understand what do we mean by assistance and protection, and that's been laid down in the convention itself. So the objectives are twofold. So it's again all explained in Article 10, and then gives us again the objective and then simultaneously the mandate. We are to enhance the protective capacity of the state parties against the attacks with chemical weapons and to react in cases for incidents involving toxic industrial chemicals. So at the same time, the organization needs to maintain the state of readiness in order to be able to respond rapidly and effectively to any request of assistance which is made by a state party in line with their provisions of the convention. So, in the more practical terms, what we understand under assistance is the coordination and delivery to state parties of the protection means against the chemical weapons, which are, again, by the convention, does not have a complete list. It's an open-ended, which includes the elements which you see on your screen at the moment. There are various possibilities and instruments how that's been ensured. So again, Article 10 contains certain obligations of the state parties, and then the rights of the state parties, and then the paragraphs of their article are divided in a way that some of them contain exclusively the obligations, some of them a combination of obligation and the rights of the state parties, and some of them do present only the rights of the state parties. So I will not read out all the elements. So I hope you can see it yourself. I can just simply explain how does it work in reality. So we do have their information exchange, which is to be done on the annual basis, and that's their the source of getting their inventory of the assistance available by their state parties of the convention to the organization and to other state parties. So in this way, we contain and then maintain this inventory, and then should something happens, and then we get in the request for assistance. So we may need to analyze the situation and then initiate provision of the assistance which was committed by any state party which would be then relevant in a particular incident scenario. So that means that their importance of their regular update of the information by the state parties about their assistance that they can provide, be it again technical, financial, legal equipment, personnel, which would cover any phase of their chemical incident is utmost important. Should, again, anything happen, so all this information needs to be up to date, and then again, ensure to be available within a short period of time. So that goes about the info exchange and then creation of the data bank of their assistance providers. Then we can also talk about their part which relates to their capacity building of their state parties at the national level, as well as sub-regional and regional, in terms of preparing and educating its personnel, the first responders, police, which might have a role to play in different phases of our chemical incident, as well as Ministry of Health or the hospitals, in order to be able again to react and then be part of their preparedness and response at the national level. So we do that through various instruments, including exchange of instructors. But mostly I would like to talk to you about their, so that how the Secretariat provides this assistance to member states. We do it based on their paragraph 5 of their Article 10, which gives us the advice to provide their expert advice to state parties, and then we are to support the state parties in developing the national protective measures against the chemical attacks and threats. So we are again to strengthen national and regional capacity in response to our incidents, and support the development of the regional, sub-regional cooperative frameworks and then a network of experts. Why is that important? Especially the last part is we all understand that we do have developed countries, we also have developing countries, and it would not be possible perhaps to ensure that each and every country would have sufficient amount of our technical means and then trained personnel to respond to a chemical incident. And in that sense, regional, sub-regional cooperation becomes of our utmost importance, as the other states may come and then help in a short period of time to provide adequate response to a scale over chemical incident. So in that sense, building this regional frameworks and networks is important. And then I can give you an example of how, for example, Switzerland is doing that. We do have our annual training cycle done by our Swiss colleagues. It's called our Swiss training cycle. With Swiss training first responders from all over the world to respond to the chemical incidents, and then they use for that their Swiss equipment. I mean, not produced by Switzerland necessarily, but are available to Switzerland. And then in parallel, Switzerland has committed to provide this equipment, which it uses for training, to any country which might need assistance under Article 10 in case of attack against its territory involving the chemical weapons, or incidents engaging toxic industrial chemicals. So in this way, it doesn't require that each and every state party would need to procure the same type of equipment as Switzerland has. So that can be, again, given to a country, well, upon request in a rather short period of time, where the country would already have their personnel well prepared to operate in their incident site using that specific equipment. So that's a pretty smart idea. We believe that could be replicated in other regions as well. So be it Africa or Asia, where are larger and well-developed countries with strong capabilities and capacities in chemical protection and respond could take this role of their lead nation, so providing their, again, support to it, their neighbors, immediate neighbors, or in a broader regional scale. Again, become a training partner for their OPCW for training personnel of that countries, and also upon request and if needed, being able to provide their equipment to ensure that their response to a chemical incident would have both the trained personnel at the national level, but also the equipment necessary coming from the region. So that's the concept which we also try to promote. Yeah. So from our side, we ensure that trainings that we do engage as many opportunities as possible. That's been done at the regional and then sub-regional and then international level. Part of that also engages national trainings. So roughly that provides us with about 40 events annually to build capacity of the state partners, and then they train their more than 1,000 first responders, incident command staff, medics annually. And then as of 2014, we do it as a concept of the annual training cycle, which for the moment is the key of their system protection branch activity on that track. So the training cycle looks like that. It's a basic course, advanced course, field exercises, and specialized trainings. In more detail, so the specialized trainings would cover all kinds of and then phases of their incident, as well as touching upon specialization of their law enforcement or medical staff or responders engaged in their incident. Again, including developing their specific skills that would be needed. Yep. So the scheme of engagement looks like that. So the Secretariat has 36 training centers, which were certified by us and then were assigned with their status of their OPCW partner training centers. So most of them, as you can see, are located in Western Europe and in Asia. So I'm happy to know that a number of states present at this conference actually are coming from their countries where we have our partner training centers. And then Minsk, so International Rescue Centers Center. ORT, TC is one of those. It's a great opportunity and then our honor for the OPCW that for more than 10 years we enjoy partnership with the training center of their Belarus Ministry of Emergency University. So the one which was dual certified by us, and then since then has been engaged on the annual basis to provision of assistance and training to the Russian-speaking first responders, but not only. So we're happy to see that the programs which are being implemented together with the center, again, are not been just focused on the Russian first responders, but also are open for other regions. So, but anyway, mostly it goes about, again, the opportunity for the Russian-speaking first responders from their former Soviet Union area, or those countries which were, and then staff of which had the opportunity to study in Russia in different universities, and then still can be engaged in the courses provided in the Russian language. On one hand, that's very positive. To be absolutely honest with you, actually, that also gives us the limitation as we can't get more than a certain amount of people per annum, and we see that in that region, so the demand is actually higher than their capacity, that training capacity that we can offer. So in that sense, we are looking forward to expand if not the number of the training centers, but at least there are possibilities to use various platforms within the region. So be it the Russian Federation or Kazakhstan, or well, whatever. So Uzbekistan, in order to Ukraine as well, or maybe some opportunities in the Caucasus to again expand the possibilities to train, utilize their instructor exchange program, and then see if we can together accumulate more of our additional capacities to meet the demand from the region. So the experts trained, yeah, you can see the trend up to the moment that the pandemic started. So we were doing gradually more and more per annum, and coming to more than 1,000 a year. So as of 2020, 2021, so clearly that's a different landscape and then format of engagement for us, but still we did not stop. So we had to transfer a number of our activities to our online or remote format. Actually, that was possible, and then there is a series of events which we successfully deliver online that includes a basic training course. So the course on our wireless information system for emergency responders and the use of emergency response guidebook. So there are recon and sampling. So though obviously reconnaissance sampling would require the hands-on training, but still most of the theoretical part and then procedures so can be taught online. We do a series of their emergency response planning trainings, incident command. For example, yeah, they're specializing on their engagement of their law enforcement, police, so medics, hospital preparation. So that all these elements that again contain their considerable amount of theoretical knowledge, and then that could be delivered online. So one more element that has a particular value for us, it's a new approach, or instead of doing their individual one-off courses, which are kind of not connected among each other, in partnership with their RT center from Belarus, we designed a new module program for the Russian-speaking first responders, which lasts for 12 months, includes a series of trainings which are interconnected to each other with one thematic concept. So that includes the basic training course and a number of specialized courses, personal protection equipment, devices and tools, reconnaissance and sampling, and then zoning the decontamination. So in a year time, so the idea is to build capacity of one and the same group of people being seconded by their national authorities from their member states to participate in that program, and that we can see them throughout the year, coming from one course to another, and then making sure that they always have a chance to refresh the knowledge that they received, for example, in the basic course, beginning of the year, so towards the end of the year. So in this way, by the end of the year, so the idea is that in roughly about 50 to 60 people from, I think, yeah, we have 10 countries altogether. So would be certified as successfully completing their the online module program, And in this way, we can be sure that these first responders were duly prepared for taking part in the face-to-face activities. Once we resume them, well, we'll hope that 2022, so we will go back to the field. And in this way, yeah, this 50 men and women from 10 countries will be their first priority for, or will be given first priority for being included in the courses which we provide in the field. And then clearly they would need less theory in the classrooms, and then can be again given more of the hands-on training, practical exercises in the field. So that will clearly also affect their the face-to-face program design. So, but again, given that we do that together with IRT Center, so we're pretty much sure that our partners from Svetla Rocher so are fully prepared to adjust their the face-to-face training program to the needs and actually the level of knowledge of these 50 guys who have been trained with us online at the moment. So it's a great achievement. We see lots of potential for that in the future. So that also provides us for the possibility to, I will go blunt here, so to cut off tourists, those who just show up for the events for the sake of not getting the sustainable knowledge, but then sometimes they just occasionally sent to a trip by their superiors, perhaps as a reward. So clearly in the area of first response and an emergency, we would like to shorten to the extent possible of that type of engagement or participation, and then provide as much or as many slots as possible to the real hard workers, those who will be dealing with their incident scenarios in their day-to-day work. Altogether, so 2021, in this way, worldwide, we managed to train more than 1,200 first responders, which considerably exceeds the level that we were able to do face-to-face. And that's, again, 29 events when normally, so we were doing less. Also, our branch is absolutely top leader within the entire technical secretariat of the OPCW in terms of providing their activities. Well, perhaps it's just that we are lucky that some of our core programs are possible or feasible to be taught online, and that gave us additional opportunities. Yeah, basically, that's it. While concluding, I would again like to thank Svetla Rocher, so International Rescue Center, for being with us for so many years, being a true partner to the OPCW, well, with trainings, with instructors exchange program, with technical knowledge or support that we enjoy very much. So secondly, I would also like to stress the idea that we would be seeking for new partnerships in the region, but also beyond. And then given that this conference is the international one, I see representative of those countries which do have capacities and capabilities, perhaps, you would be interested also to discuss further with us the opportunities for building up their cooperation, again, creating these regional hubs where your countries could, perhaps be interested in making something similar to what we call their Swiss training cycle, where we would use their training centers, so one or more, making their annual cycle consisting again of a series of trainings using the equipment you have. So, but then, you would also need then to think if that equipment would be made available upon request to the organization, and so to their state parties of their chemical weapons convention, should an incident happens on their territory, and then you would be able, together with us, to deliver that assistance to the country in question. So, these are the two major remarks I would like to do at the end, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anton. I think your mission, the mission of your organization, is very, very significant worldwide, and I hope you will expand your state parties list and will never work with chemical weapons, but with the educational programs. So, and we also very enjoy your partnership and hope we will continue our close partnership in future. And now I will go back to Belarus, to the University of Civil Protection. I should say that in our university we constantly try to find new and sometimes not traditional ways to train firefighters and rescuers. As you know, the good training is the training that goes with the real effects of fire, flames, heat, shock hazards, etc. So I would like to approve that we found a new one. Now I would like to give the screen to Alexander Krachulin with the report, a simulator for training firefighters with imitation of the effects of physical influences in virtual reality, University of Civil Protection. Please, Alexander, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Vadim. Hello, dear participants.
Just a minute.
Hello, dear participants of the conference. My name is Grachulin Alexander. I am scientific secretary of Council of University, and let me present to your attention my report about the results of developed firefighter training VR simulator with haptic feedback. How you know, in the Republic of Belarus created and functioning a professional fire service. For effective work, firefighters receive specialized education and regularly improve their professional skills in training and exercises. Usually in the training complexes, safe conditions are created without hazards factors of fire. This guarantees the safety of participants in case of wrong action and includes harm of health. However, it doesn't show the scale, specificity and identity of the fire conditions. For example, collapse of building structure or equipment, electric shock, high temperature and others. The scale and specifics of the fire can be shown during exercises. However, an approximation to real conditions increases the risk of harm to health and well as financial costs. Thus, the development and implementation of immersion system in virtual reality into the educational process is actual. This will immerse students in different conditions of a virtual fire, get feedback without being exposed to hazards. In this way, students will quickly gain experience and practical skills in firefighting that are difficult to simulate in reality. Simulator may include basic set of VR equipment, glasses, controllers, bases, simulating fire equipment, breathing apparatus, fire nozzle and hoses and other, firefighters clothing with haptic feedback elements, heating, vibration, electrical simulation, and other. Additional VR equipment, trackers, dynamic platforms, suits, gloves, and of course personal computer. It's a server PC for instructor and backpack PC for student. This equipment can be used in combination and separately for the implementation of specific operation of firefighters. For example, operation with fire pump or outer ladder. The instructor interface allows you to control the progress of the task and assess the correctness of the user's actions, analyze the causes of errors. In addition, the output of the user's biometric parameters can be provided, which indicate the emotion experienced by the student. Main advantages of firefighter training VR technologies. It's psychological preparation for the specific condition of fire, repeated passage of simulation, which develops the most effective actions, excludes the risk of harm to health of student, simulation of different fire scenarios on the same equipment, increasing involvement in learning using the game method, conducting trainings online with users from different locations. The Civil Protection University have some experience in developing VR simulators. Fire Quest Inspector, educational software for training specialists of state fire supervision. The virtual model of an industrial facility includes 22 buildings, more than 200 rooms, and more than 5,000 controlled elements. Next, it's Fire Quest Commander, training software for training firefighting leaders. Fire extinguishing management implemented as a real-time strategy. Next, it's Fire Quest Investigator, educational software for training specialists of fire investigation management. Software includes photographs of the real place of fire, allows to investigate it, identify material evidence, draw up documents. And educational software My Safe Home, emergency simulation in virtual model of home, indicates safety rules and demonstrated possible consequences. It is necessary to note the interactive training cities in the Educational Center of Life Safety in various areas. There are more than 30 different interactive training cities. Learning is implemented as a game. It is more effective in children training. The university is currently developing a firefighter training VR simulator with haptic feedback. This work is under the state program of scientific research, digital and space technology, human society and state safety, and the initiative of the United Nations Development Program in Belarus. The aim of the project is to determine the optimal operating modes of the VR simulator and effect of haptic feedback on the student. The concept of firefighter training VR simulator with haptic feedback includes: student in the simulation experiences the physical impact generated by the haptic feedback VR suit and by VR helmet according to the scenario. Student participate in the simulation alone. Real movement of the student in the training location, no teleports. wireless connection of simulator. Instructor make change to the scenario using software tools. Firefighter training VR simulator with haptic feedback includes VR equipment, it is HTC Vive Pro, backpack PC, it's Zotac VR Go, and haptic feedback VR suite. Main element of our simulator, it's Tesla suite. At the moment in simulator used VR headset controllers. In the future VR gloves will be used. This will expand the functionality of the simulator and increase the user's perception of virtual objects. VR training location, it is several rooms of an industrial facility with filling items. Instructor can choose various options for the placement of rooms. Simulation processes and phenomena conform to the law of physics and change with the progress of the fire and the action of the student. Students can interact with VR models of items and receive feedback from them. For example, a fire extinguisher, fire nozzle, electrical panel, or gas bottle. Real object can be used in synchronization with VR models using trackers. In simulation, user's avatar is created, which includes items of clothing and equipment of firefighters. In the simulation, the student experiences physical effects from the suit according to the scenario. The haptic feeling on the student begins in the corresponding active zones. For example, point 4 electrical panel, can be electric shock when a student touch it. Point 5 sprinkler, it is water drops. Blast way, of course, it's heat. Hot steam jet, it's burn. Flow collapse, it can be the fall. Door opening, it is flame burst. Fire source, it's electric shock again, and gas bottle, it's blast wave. The instructor can change the location of the active zones and time, sequence and condition for the activation. Now a short demo in which we tested the graphics, physics and mechanics of the simulation. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for the attention and ready to answer your questions in mail.
Thank you, Alexander. I hope you won't harm our rescuers during the training process, and of course in real fires and emergencies anymore due to your VR suitcase, hardware and software. And next report goes to China. Institute of Public Safety Research, Tsinghua University. With Tsinghua University and with the Institute of Public Safety Research, we've got very warm and constant relationships for years. So I should express a special words of gratitude to Mr. Su, Mr. Chan, and Mr. Du. We are very happy to be the partner of your company and of your country. Now I would like to give the screen to Jinggu Wang with the report, the research in remote monitoring system for urban fire protection. Please, Jinggu Wang, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm Jing Wang from Institute of Public Safety Research, University, and my colleague Serena Chen will report this time. Thank you. Serena, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wang. Hello, dear participants, and I'm Serena Chen. I'm the research assistant of Dr. Wang. And the topic I share today is the research and thinking of Tsinghua University in the field of fire protection. And can you see the presentation now?
Yes, we've got it.
Thank you. So my presentation today will be divided into 3 parts. A brief introduction to the achievements of IPSR and the application, followed by some typical successful cases. And first, I will share some of our achievements in the fire prevention and fire accident investigation in the recent years. So the fire prevention difficulties of the high and large buildings are pretty much different from the general buildings. Thermally stratified environments lead to the failure of the early fire smoke into the reached ceiling. So the contact-based smoke detection is out of function, especially when the air-conditioned areas. So first, we review the movement law of the hot smoke in early fire. And the area can be divided into the isothermal region, the convection region, and the top heat retention region. So with that, we have developed the technology of long-distance non-contact smoke detection for the long-distance targeted and accurate firefighting. And we have proved theoretically that there are different degrees of piecewise linear thermal stratification environment. And combining the stratified environment characteristics, the smoke properties, and the self-similarity, we have developed a modified integral formula. As the formulas here, you can see in the lower right corner. And by using the spatial resolution of the camera and innovating the detection principle, the multi-layer cross-detection coverage of the sensing beam to the fire smoke is realized, and it greatly improved the ability and coverage density of the fire detection against the interference of environmental light sources. And furthermore, we also do some research about the array infrared pyroelectric fire detector, and it can enhance the extraction ability of the weak flame signal and improve the detection distance. And we also do some work on the video detection, such as the fusion analysis of visible near-infrared multi-band spectral features. And it is used to process the video in real time. And by using the AI-based cloud collaboration, an AI video fire detector was developed, and it has the HD video smoke analysis and near-infrared flame video analysis functions. So these results of devices have been applied to national key projects in China, such as the Great Hall of People, the National Grand Theater, and the Olympic Center, the APEC conference venue. We have also applied our devices to many commercial buildings. And since last, we have started a new fire detection research, which is the laser probe fire detection. And we use the initiative laser probe methods to detect the carbon monoxide, to detect the smoke particles and the temperature, to improve the detection accuracy and speed. And these are the research achievements on fire detections in recent years. And the second one is the remote fire monitoring. So currently in most countries in the world, they use fire detectors and alarm hosts. And a few years ago, some countries like UK and the United States have constructed the integrated call centers which are connected to the fire alarms. And China had also made some remote monitoring standards in like 2007 as to promote the realization of early fire alarm and improve the integrity rate of the firefighting facilities. And actually, there are lots of fire detectors in China, about 3.5 billion. And some of them are the firefighting control host and alarm host. China has constructed like hundreds of remote monitoring systems, but most of them are not in use. So the interact rate of firefighting facilities is less than 50%. And because of the differences in the production, installation, maintenance, and the actual environment of all the detectors, the rate of false alarms in China is rather high, which lead to the failure of the large-scale network monitoring and alarm systems to work normally, resulting in the obstruction of national action. So in order to realize the early fire alarm and the controllable firefighting facilities in cities and even the whole country, we must overcome the technical problems of high false alarm of the firefighting system. However, if we replace all of them, the cost will be like over 1 trillion yuan, so the replacement is not very practical. So currently, the mainstream method is just to put the signal to the cloud through the terminal cloud coordination and to use the intelligent algorithms on the cloud to decrease the false alarms. And our research institute starts from the basic theories to research the spreading regulations of the smoke in different buildings, and we propose a new concept called the architectural structure microelement, which stands for the smallest space element representing the law of smoke spread in building space. And the influence law of the architecture structure microelement on the smoke movement and detected signal space distribution, and established the calculation model of the alarm time difference in microelements of different building structures. And here is an example for the plane structure space, which is the simplest movement mode for the smoke. And the alarm time is approximately equal to the integral of the flue gas moving speed on the moving path. And the alarm time difference is equal to the difference of the related alarm times. So in order to evaluate the accuracy of the model, we have established a fire alarm field model with our multi-detector coupling. Theoretical research shows that multi-detector fusion can significantly reduce the false alarm, like by 4 orders of magnitude. And we have constructed a 2,000 square kilometers lab in Hefei to simulate the different buildings. It can also be moved and recombined. And here we constructed a 50-meter long utility corridor. And we also set like roofs, elevator shafts, and pipe shafts to simulate the smoke spreading in different settings to verify our algorithms. And the picture on the upper left side corner is the environment of the lab, and you can see that here's a changeable corridor. And we have established many project algorithms using these simulation experiments. And we find like 20,000 highly suspected true alarms from the 6 million alarms, and these cover most fire detectors on our platforms. And besides we do research on theories, we also have find out some practical application issues in the process of fire monitoring. Different manufacturers often produce different models, and so they have their own protocols. Therefore, analyzing the data is a big problem. And sometimes the technical staff cannot reach the site to provide help. And under these circumstances, we developed a new IoT gateway which can be adjusted and updated remotely through the cloud and access to host very quickly. It also solves the problem of multi-host access, because a unit has many hosts that are not in the master-slave relation, so we can get access through the gateway directly. So basically, through the research and the hardware, we have constructed a national platform which receives many alarms every day for handling. And we use these handling process to verify and optimize our algorithms. We have done this work in 46 cities, and over 20,000 enterprises with 50,000 shops get access to our platform. And thirdly, the condition monitoring and fault diagnosis of the firefighting facility. The remote fire monitoring focused mainly on alarms of the detectors, but in order to guarantee the firefighting facilities of these enterprises are in good condition, we hope that their fire hydrant system and the smoke control and extraction system are also work well. So take fire hydrant system as an example. We attached a vibrating monitor to the water pump and assess the monitor's running status remotely according to their vibrating signal acquired when it starts. And if we find problems like blade damage or bearing aging, we can immediately make early warnings to prevent these malfunctions in real fire extinguishment. And we not only monitor the fire extinguishment facilities, but we also provide analysis and control for the combustion and explosion risk. Firefighting departments are responsible for extinguishing the fires caused by natural gas leakage here in China. So we have done some research on this issue. And basically in China, the natural gas accident is the third biggest killer, just ranking after the traffic accidents and industrial accident. So among a large number of gas explosion accidents, about 70% of gas explosion accidents, it belongs to the medium and low pressure leakage. And 60% mostly occur in the adjacent spaces, such as a cable trench, rainwater and sewage pipe network, an inspection well, or a civil air defense engineering. So the combustion and explosion risk of such cross-border effects is in the blind area of the current supervision. And so there's a lack of sufficient research on its occurrence mechanism and the early warning and prevention. And we have made some theoretical innovations in this field. We have disclosed the mechanism of the gas pipeline network disaster, and we have conducted many real explosion experiments. And in addition, we have also constructed a full-size underground pipe network experiment platform in the IPSR Hefei, which includes gas, the heat, and water supply pipelines, and developed a high-risk space identification, combustible gas leakage traceability, and also the diffusion early warning technology. It successfully established a systematic prevention and control mode of these dynamic monitoring, risk assessment combined with early warning and prevention. And we have researched the underground pipeline network explosion caused by natural gas leakage in the city to make prevention measures. So we have also innovated a new arrangement in terms of fire early warning of high-risk venues. And we have algorithms that will help the clients to realize the intelligent management. And we not only support the firefighting departments and the fire supervision departments, we also can enhance the abilities of fire service and clients to guarantee their safety. And we want to construct or normalize the risk control mechanism and establish the ability through this platform so that the workload of firefighting departments will be reduced. And in this process, we summarize many service standards which were published over 40 cities with our platforms. And those fire service departments will standardize their work while observing local rules and regulations. And next, I will share some typical cases of success. Okay, I'll first talk about some applications of our current situation. And through our research, I just introduced some basic research and achievements. And for our institutes, have intended to transfer the research to the application for a long time to reduce the fire cases in China. So our overall concept is shown in this image. Like Professor Fan's report also mentioned in this concept, we hope to apply our technology to the platform. And the platform can help to firefighting departments serve the public better and the public maintain their fire extinguishment facilities better to guarantee the social safety. And the technology also helps the firefighting bureaus to monitor accurately and rescue effectively. We used to remote monitoring, fire detecting, and electro fire warning in our firefighting business to help the local firefighting agencies to recognize the fire risk. And this is a demonstration of our system. So the system integrates fire and video monitoring systems in high-risk locations. And in terms of early warning of high-risk venue, our facilities will help the clients to realize the intelligent management. And this is our process of the government and industry participation in a collaborative management. Basically, the system provides statistics on the breakdown of the firefighting equipment, and which are pushed to the relevant management departments for the local governments to promote the active performance of their supervision responsibilities and to form a pattern of joint management of the firefighting work. And for the next part, I will share some typical cases of success. Okay. So this is a social service system for the economic development zone. And it is different from our previous systems because these systems are a daily monitoring and the fire rescue decision-making assistance software for the firefighting forces. So basically, this is a service project to provide a service for the units in the 1.3 million square meters economic development zone to improve the readiness rate and reduce the fire alarms. And we used algorithms for quick judgment and guided fire rescue. Actually, we not only used the technology in China, but also apply it to foreign countries. And the gateway and devices of the firefighting IoT remote monitoring have passed the Singapore technical standard and were applied in Singapore. We have also applied our products in some Middle Asian countries. And basically, this is our research and thinking in the field of fire protection. And thanks again for all of your attention.
Thank you, Jingu Wang. I hope your so precise detection of fire and monitoring system will help the firefighters and save lives, and your false alarm detection will decrease to 0. And your computational models will be enhancing so to coincide with real files. Thank you. So we go back to the University of Civil Protection, and I want to say that our university pays great attention in training not only professionals, but also for the society, and the most weak part of it, our children and teenagers. For this aim, as a part of the university, we developed new life safety center for teenagers. It is a very fascinating fun platform. Please pay attention to it and the report. And I give the report to the Elena Parchuk, the implementation of innovative approaches in field of teaching the population the rules of life safety, University of Civil Protection. Please, Elena, the screen is yours.
Hello, distinguished participants of the conference. My name is Elena Parchuk. I am working as the head of the Educational Centers of Safety of the Ministry for Emergency Situations. The topic of my report is implementation of innovative approaches in the field of teaching the population the rules of life safety. Public safety today is a topic that attracts the attention of the whole world. Belarus has established and is constantly improving the state system of prevention and liquidation of emergency situations. The solution to the problem of human security mainly depends on preventive measures, on the education of the population, especially children and teenagers, the basics of safe behavior. Everyone knows that it's necessary to form a culture of life safety since childhood. There are namely children who are the most exposed to the dangerous factors of the modern world. It's known that in the first few minutes of the extreme situations, under the influence of fear, panic, in a state of passion, a person acts reflexively on a subconscious level. Experience in emergency response confirms that the number of victims among the population who know how to act correctly in extreme situations is 35–40% less. Consequently, it's possible to increase the level of security of society and citizens by creating models of safe behavior. Of course, life safety classes are held in educational institutions. However, school activities teach children only basic skills of behavior in extreme situations. In addition, the material base of institutions is not designed for in-depth study of safety issues, and especially practical training of knowledge and skills. In this regard, educational centers of safety have been created in Minsk and in every region of our country, equipped with modern educational equipment and visual aids, simulators with the necessary software. To the present time, in Belarus, there are 10 centers of safety emergency. You can see them on the slide. More than 300,000 children and adults have been trained in the centers of safety during their operation. The target audience of the center are learners of educational institutions, students, employees, pensioners. The main purpose of the Educational Center of Safety is to teach the population the right actions in the event of various emergencies. Using innovative technologies and simulators, visitors to the center have the opportunity to develop practical skills in saving people, self-rescue and self-reliance. The largest and most modern center of safety is located in Minsk, which opened early this year. The center covers all areas of safety: fire safety, industrial safety, nuclear and radiation safety, environmental safety, transport safety, and others. Of great interest to the population are the expositions of security centers built with the maximum transmission of reality on the basis of modern information technologies, using augmented and virtual reality technologies. The methodology of training is based on the immersion of studying in the environment that maximally imitates an emergency, and in-depth study of the material by increasing the emotional perception of the simulated situation. With the help of augmented reality technologies, the issues of the main causes of fire are worked out. Using this technology, you are connecting real and virtual world when the additional information is superimposed on the image of the real world. A special program will complement the picture with the necessary virtual objects. This technology can significantly expand the range of data perceived by a person. Virtual reality creates the effect of a complete immersion in another world with animated characters and phenomena, whereas events taking place in accordance with a given scenario. This innovation will be in trend even 10 years from now. The development and implementation of modern and effective means and technologies of life safety education have a pronounced social effect, not measurable in monetary terms as a rule. At the same time, training in the center will allow to develop safe behavior of people, taking into consideration the fact that 80 to 94% of fires, accidents, and man-made disasters occur due to human errors. The center is focused on the solution to distinct social tasks aimed at improving the public education quality, beginning with the basics of safe behavior in different emergency situations from preschool age. The creation of centers of safety has a pronounced social effect, as it will reduce the loss of life and material damage from emergencies by increasing the level of safe culture through training. In our country, they say that if you think about tomorrow, you should seed the grain. If you think about next 10 years, plant a forest. And if you dream about the life in 100 years, teach and educate children. Teaching the basics of life safety is an invisible process that has a long-term influence of citizens. Eventually, it's important that safe behavior and healthy lifestyle becomes a prerequisite for correct actions in various emergency situations, but not just the sum of acquired knowledge. At the end of my speech, we present to your attention a short film about the Center of Safety in Minsk.
The Safety Center is an innovative educational base for teaching the population, especially children and teenagers, in the field of basics of life safety. There are many interactive training places on the 4th floors of the center. A petrol station is a high-risk location. Knowledge of the sources of danger and the algorithm for safe behavior will help to avoid an emergency situation or minimize its consequences. On this site, the issues of safe use of electric vehicles are being worked out both in normal mode and in emergency situations. The road is a place of increased risks. Here the children learn how to cross the road on a regulated and unregulated pedestrian crossing. This stand is intended for adult visitors of the center and allows them to clearly see the possible consequences of human carelessness. Virtual reality is actively used in teaching and education. The Quest scenario allows you to train safety issues both on a city street and indoors. Places of people mass gathering can attract lawbreakers. Here you can learn how to act if a child is lost or his belongings are stolen. On the apron, keep a safe distance from the edge of the platform. A full-size model of an electric train carriage is installed in the center. Inside, the visitors study the rules of behavior not only in the railway carriage but also in the subway, on the bus and on the plane. A separate simulator is intended for practicing evacuation from an aircraft. Here the rules of crossing railway tracks are reminded to the visitors of the center. In our country, a strong earthquake is impossible, but children and adults should know how to act in such a situation on vacation abroad. A special training simulator allows feeling the impact of an earthquake with a certain magnitude. The main elements of the civil defense shelter can be seen in the center. They allow you to get acquainted with both the structure of the shelter and the rules for its use. Strong winds and hurricanes can cause tragedy. This simulator allows you to feel the strength of the wind, which can be adjusted depending on the age of the visitors. The criminal security platform was created jointly with the Ministry of Internal Affairs. The home alone situation is useful for primary school children. Should I open the door to a stranger? Here the visitors learn how to behave in public places and not to become a victim of scammers. The exposition is equipped with 5 unique simulators for the most effective assimilation of the material. The harm of smoking, the negative impact of bad habits on human body. Healthy eating and a floor game promote healthy lifestyles and expands knowledge of healthy food. First aid is an important element in protecting the life and health of citizens. A person's life can depend on the correct actions of eyewitnesses immediately after the accident. This site appeared in connection with the increasing frequency of bullying and cyberbullying of children and people on the internet. It also teaches you how to deal with panic, stress, stupor, and negative emotions that always accompany emergencies. Safety when working with gas in everyday life, the danger of games at construction sites, the procedure for dealing with a malfunction of elevator equipment. All this will be taught by the industrial safety site, with simple words about complicated issues. This site tells about the safety of nuclear power and demonstrates the principle of operation of a nuclear reactor and the nuclear power plant as a whole. Today the center has already planned the further development of existing sites because the heads of all departments and local authorities are convinced that safety is a common concern.
Thank you, Elena. I'm convinced that our children is our future, and if we help our children to distinguish the hazards and emergencies, we will save our future for sure. And now we will go to the Azerbaijan, the Academy of Ministry of Emergencies. Our university has a great history of mutual relationship with the Academy and with the Ministry of Emergencies of Azerbaijan. A lot of firefighters from Azerbaijan were trained in our university, so we would like to say thank you to Azerbaijan and especially to the head of the Academy, Abbas Alayev. And I would like to give the screen to Ulvi Sadik-Zada with the report, the main task of search and rescue operations, Academy of the Ministry of Emergencies of Azerbaijan. Please, Ulvi Sadik-Zada, the screen is yours.
Hello, my name is Ulvi Sadik-Zadeh and I work in Academy of Emergency Situations of Azerbaijan Republic. And the name of my article is the main task of search and rescue operations. Despite the achievements of scientific and technological progress, the threat of disasters to society is growing. The number of victims of natural disaster is growing by about 6% a year. According to the Scientific Center for Epidemiological Disasters results, between 1965 and 1992, 3.6 million people died in natural disasters, more than 3 billion people were affected, and the total economic damage was more than $340 billion. The data provided by various countries to the World Conference on Natural Disasters Yokohama 1994 show that between 1962 and 1992, the country suffered severe economic losses, up to 1% of its annual gross domestic product and more. The number of natural disasters increased by 4.1 times, while the number of victims increased by 2.1 times. The most catastrophic economic losses are floods, droughts, and earthquakes. These account for 32, 22, or 10% of all emergencies, respectively. The most dangerous disasters, though, drought 30% and floods 32%, according to the number of victims. According to the number of casualties, floods 26%, epidemics 17%, and earthquakes 13%. This is evidences by the analysis of statistical data on emergencies on Earth over the past 30 years. However, the number of wars, terrorist attacks, and various types of armed conflict in the world is constantly growing. There are more than 15 types of very dangerous natural phenomena in the territory of Azerbaijan, which is characterized by a variety of geological, climate, and relief conditions. The most destructive of these are floods, erosions, earthquakes, landslides, floods, avalanches. The decision made at this stage of management is implemented. In the planning process, the responsibilities of the subordinate forces and governing bodies are specified. The duration of this task is calculated. The sequence of implementation, the rules of interaction between the forces in the group, the necessary reserves for comprehensive support of future activities are determined. Determining the degree of danger of emergency factors, setting the boundaries of dangerous areas, calculation of forces and means for conducting SR, proper assignment delivered to the executors, ensuring the interaction of all participants in the SR, analysis of the result of the current work and preparation of amendments, checking the implementation of the specified tasks, organization of the final stage of the SR. The main forms of SR management are strategic, operational, tactical, normative. The management of the SR must be reliable and uninterrupted. The management of the SR starts at the moment of receiving the information about the occurrence of the emergency and continues until the completion of the work. The SR management system is subordinated to the Crisis Management Center. The activities of the governing bodies are based on constantly updated information about emergencies. Decisions are made on the basis of information. After the decision is made, the matter is transferred to rescues. The area where the SR will be held is indicated, the methods of their implementation, the condition of interaction, the participants, working groups, and the time of completion of the SR are noted. Organization of SR during the wreckage. Siege of the emergency zone with the help of the State Traffic Safety Inspectorate. Siege of law enforcement agencies in the area of the disaster. Headquarters. MES, AR. Precinct for providing medical care. It covers the nature of combat operations, the rules of mobilization and development, deployment of forces and equipment, the necessary and sufficient condition to limit and eliminate the consequences of natural and man-made disasters, the tactical capabilities of rescue teams, and calculation methods for their use, as well as the organization of liquidation and the management of hostilities. The tactics of conducting search and rescue operations depend on tactical and technical capabilities of special purpose equipment, the introduction of new rescue vehicles. As rescue teams are gradually being equipped with more sophisticated equipment and rescue equipment, it is important to continuously improve the tactics of conducting rescue operations by improving them with new methods and ways of conducting the rescue operations. Search and rescue tactics are one of the disciplines relevant to the main profile of the training of highly educated specialists and on emergencies and life safety. Application of governing bodies and forces in carrying out emergencies and rescue and other urgent works, activity of governing bodies in carrying out STSD, management during the conduct of the Institute, one of the main directions in the conduct of the Institute. Thus, the determination of the degree of danger of FH factors, the establishment of the boundaries of danger zones are considered to be key issues. Successful search and rescue operations lead to the elimination of the consequences of emergencies and minimization of casualties. Thank you.
Thank you, Azerbaijan. I hope droughts and earthquakes won't hesitate Azerbaijan people anymore, and your firefighters will be very well trained to eliminate these dangers. Now we will go back to Belarus, to our practical training center, the Institute of Training and Professional Development of the University of Civil Protection. Everyone knows that good training is training in real fires and real emergencies, with real conditions, with real tools and equipment. So our training institute has the most of it, and it is already for 25 years well known worldwide with its platforms. So the next report I will give to the Deputy Chief of the Retraining Institute of the University of Civil Protection, to the Vitaly Babish. Please, Vitaly, the screen is yours.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Vitaly Babish. My position is that of Deputy Head of the University branch. Our branch is located in the city of Borisov. This year our branch celebrates 25th anniversary. I would like to begin my presentation by showing you a short video about our branch. Dear colleagues, I welcome you to the conference held by the University of Civil Defense. Thanks a lot of organization for the opportunity to present a report on the practical training of rescue in the Republic of Belarus. Basic training for rescues and firefighters is conducted at a branch of the university. Main task of the branch activities: initial training of firefighters and rescues, advanced training of rescues and officers, implementation of scientific activities, creation a training simulation base for training, creation of methodological support. Each year, more than 5,000 students, including those from foreign countries, are training in more than 150 education programs. More than 80% of the training classes are practical. 24 special laboratories and classes are used for lessons. About 43 hectares polygon with 27 training areas is used for practical classes. The practical training ground is represented on this slide. Each rescue firefighter is training for 3 months. Training includes working with rescue tools, breathing apparatus, elimination of fires, and many other disciplines. When training with rescue tools was stationary, a simulation placed on the training grounds of the landfill and mobile portable elements are used. Each rescuer knows how to operate with hand and machine tools. Rescuers learn how to operate and maintain all types of tools. An important element of the training is working with various firefighters' equipment, fire hoses, fire hydrants, and foam generators. Training is conducted at various training facilities where real fire and possible. Training is breathing apparatus is necessary element of firefighters training. Training is conducted outdoors in smoke and heat chambers. Special tests are used to determine the readiness of firefighters. The platforms are used to train firefighters on how to act when a flame erupts. An important element is a straight test in breathing apparatus, where we determine the physical readiness of the rescue. The airflow rate is calculated for each rescue. Rescues are trained to respond to emergency on the training grounds of the site, where various accidents on road and rail transport are simulated. Rescues practice action to unblock victims in various situations. Training of action related to the elimination of emergency situation in buildings of various types is performed in a container camp, a destroyed building where possible to simulate situation related to fighting, debris removal, stabilization of structure, etc. Execution fires in electrical installation is carried out at special training sites, where different types of transformation are located. We invite electrical gears specialists to the training system. Firefighters practice their joint action with emergency crews. Each rescue is training in the use of climbing equipment. Climbing tall buildings using fire ladders is a required element. Training for firefighters rescues lasts for 3 months. The training includes being on duty in a fire rescue training unit. Each rescue goes through 5 shifts. There are more than 130 settlements in the area covered. Officers and mandatory training to respond to chemical and radiation accident. For this purpose, there are sites at the range chemical plant, radiation hazard facility. Training also takes place in the Chernobyl zone, where there are separate training sites. For classes, we use modern equipment that allows us to remove simulated areas with radiation contamination by various substances. The Institute is a regional center of the organization Prohibited Chemistry Weapons. Education program for the training of chemical service personnel are coordinated with the Technical Secretariat Organization Prohibited Chemistry Weapons. The Institute uses special simulation to train officers and airport firefighters to practice fighting fires outside and inside different aircrafts. To practice decompression actions, a special training areas is used with the mask falling out. Aircraft landing training places take places in a pool with various types of rafts. Training certified by the international aviation community. In our presentation, we present only part of practical training areas. Many classes are held with the use of activity equipment Ministry Emergency Situation Units. We conduct classes at the Special Operation Department, Aviation, the Republic Operations Center, as well as at active industrial facilities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Vitaly. Hope your platforms will work for saving the lives of people and firefighters all over the world. And now we will go to Republic of Uzbekistan, Tashkent Institute of Architecture and Civil Engineering. Thank you, Uzbekistan, for the opportunity to participate in our conference for the first time. The most difficult emergency is the earthquake, and the easiest way to protect from it is to construct seismic-resistant buildings. So I give screen to Guzal Kasimova with a report obtaining high-performance concrete in the conditions of the Republic of Uzbekistan to increase the seismic resistance of buildings and structures. Please, Guzal, the screen is yours.
Good afternoon, dear participant and organizer of conference. My name is Guzal Kasimova. I'm from Tashkent. I senior researcher of Center for Advanced Technologies, and I would like to present to your attention our results of our research. Obtaining for high-performance concrete in the condition of the Republic of Uzbekistan. High-performance concrete has truly unique and beneficial properties. The use of this particular type of concrete makes it possible to make the structure more frost-resistant and waterproof. The property of the new concrete is of excellent deformation control properties. This quality of concrete made it possible to bring to life the most daring projects that humanity could not even dream of before. Some of the most common construction masterpieces with new concrete are the bridge which was built across the Akashi Strait, which is located in Japan with a span of almost 2,000 meters, having stood during the earthquake of 1995 with a force of 7 3 points. The highest pylons in the world at the time were successfully tested for strength. Indescribably high and beautiful skyscrapers, the height of which of 910 meters, and there are 163 floors. The well-known tunnel that runs under the English Channel is also built with this concrete. The use of a new generation of concrete in construction provides a guaranteed, reliable and safe building and structure. This concrete will perfectly withstand all any harmful effects of the environment, as well as with enviable resistance. It will transfer all the loads that may be placed on it. Concrete with such qualities is now mainly used in the construction of special monolithic structures, as well as in the construction of pavements on runway and airfields, precisely where qualities such as durability and reliability are of paramount importance. We have conducted research on the production of high-performance concrete on local raw materials of Uzbekistan. One of the conditions for obtaining new generation concrete is the use of high-grade cement. We conducted a study on the production of this type of concrete using Portland cement grade 400 and using modified Portland cement grade 600 developed at our center. In the table 1, we can see concrete strength indicators at 7% replacement of a part of cement with microsilica and superplasticity. We can see that result of strength, compressive strength, it was increased on each stage of hardening concrete. The result of testing concrete samples shows that the compressive strength increased by 27% compared to the control concrete samples without additive, but 25% lower compared to the projected strength. It should be noted that when designing concrete mixes, we used the design method of American Concrete Institute. The concrete mixture was designed for the construction of a building column with a strength of 80 megapascal. As stated earlier, an important condition for the design and production of high-performance concrete is the use of high-activity Portland cement, that is 500 or 600 grade. Therefore, we conducted study to increase the activity of Portland cement, but its mechanical activation with active mineral and chemical additive. During the mechanochemical activation of Portland cement clinker with a modifying additive consisting of mineral and chemical component, a modified Portland cement of increased strength was obtained. The compressive strength of the modified Portland cement increased by 51% compared to the control composition. The grade of the clinker used in the experiment was 300. Further concrete samples were prepared on the basis of cement modified with a complex additive. The test results of concrete samples based on high activity cement are shown in Table 2. As can be seen from the result of the experiment, when using modified high-strength cement, the compressive strength of 7-day concrete cube samples increased by 68.2%, and the compressive strength of 27-day concrete samples increased by 48.1% compared to the control samples. The water demand of this concrete mix decreased from 0.35 to 0.25, that is by 28.6%. It should be noted that a complex additive in the composition of cement affect the water demand of the cement system. Cement structure compaction. Neither modified silica additives effectively fill the space between cement particles, compacting and strengthening the molecular structure of the concrete mixture. This provides a compressive strength that is much higher than the strength characteristics of conventional concrete. The experiment results confirmed the effectiveness of the developed additive for the hardening of cement systems. The introduction of a complex additive into the composition of the cement accelerates the hydration process, affects the compaction of the structure of the cement stone, and increases the strength, in particular the 28-day strength of cement with the additive increased by 56% compared to the control samples, and 28 days strength of concrete cubes increased by about 45%. It was found that when designing high-performance concrete, the early strength of in particular 7 days of concrete hardening increased by 68%, and the compressive strength of 28 days concrete sample increased by 48% compared to control samples. It is shown that with the increase in the amount of a complex additive in the composition of Portland cement, the structure of the cement stone is compacted due to microsilica particles, which serve as center of crystallization of calcium hydrosilicates and affect the acceleration of the strength gain of the developed concrete. Thanks for your attention.
Nice report, thank you, Uzbekistan. Hope the formula of your high-strength concrete will perfectly withstand any earthquake in Uzbekistan and worldwide. And for our last report, we again will go back to the University of Civil Protection. I should say that many huge emergencies are mostly industrial, and it is impossible practically to model and train them in real life. So the university developed special software for the educational approaches for these emergencies. As we know, these emergencies are very huge and large, so legal authorities of the countries might be educated how to react in such situations. That is why the next report goes to Sergei Bordak, with the topic Virtual Educational Environment as a Training Tool for Civil Protection Governments, University of Civil Protection. Please, Sergey, the screen is yours.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We present to your attention the report Virtual Educational Environment as a Tool for Training Civil Protection Authorities. The purpose of this work is to develop and introduce into the educational process software for training specialists in the field of civil protection, which makes it possible to simulate their activities in the event of man-made and natural emergencies. To achieve the goal, the following tasks were identified and solved. First, develop an educational vector cartographic virtual model of the city and its surroundings and an editor for it. Second, develop a model for the development of an accident at a chemically hazardous facility with the release, spill, of an emergency chemically hazardous substance, depending on the time of day, meteorological conditions and the amount of hazardous substance. Third, develop a model for the development of an accident at a nuclear fuel cycle facility depending on the amount of radioactivity released from a nuclear reactor, type of nuclear reactor, stability category and wind speed. Fourth, develop a model for the development of biological contamination. Fifth, to develop a model of actions of the Commission on emergency situations for two types of accidents and the danger of biological contamination. Sixth, develop software. Seventh, install and test the developed software. The developed software consists of 3 independent modules, a script editor module, a student module and an instructor module. The script editor module allows you to create and edit exercises, as well as use real maps of the area for modeling, which are made in the form of an educational vector cartographic virtual model of a district city. The specified module has a flexible system for setting parameters that affect the propagation of simulated failures. An educational cartographic virtual model of a district city is presented in the form of a vector electronic map of urban development and its environs with details of emergency objects. The training model of the district city can be displayed in 2D and 3D mode. The display of contamination, pollution, zones is carried out taking into account the laws of the development of an emergency and the possibility of identifying buildings, structures, streets, roads and the number of people entering the danger zone. The Learners module allows training according to predetermined scenarios for the development of emergencies, saving the results and the learning process itself. The capabilities of this module allow students to analyze, compare, systematize the data necessary to develop a solution, carry out the necessary operational and tactical calculations for the organization of rescue operations, as well as develop optimal options for management decisions, taking into account performance indicators and specified resource constraints. The Instructor module allows you to monitor the actions of trainees, as well as receive data on learning outcomes from saved databases. In each module, the user has exclusive access rights for system adjustments and settings, as well as the ability to store databases of all existing and deleted scripts and learning outcomes. The advantage of using the developed software in the educational process in comparison with the traditional approach, conducting business games, is the fact that each student must complete the training, avoiding the role of a passive participant in the educational process. This allows you to fully evaluate the theoretical knowledge gained, while the student sees the consequences of the decisions made in the form of displaying statistics on losses and damage. The person conducting the final certification can track the final result of the task of each student and analyze the progress of the task in real time. Thus, the developed software makes it possible, in a single virtual educational environment, to work out with students a set of measures for acquiring decision-making skills for carrying out emergency rescue and other urgent operations. This takes into account the necessary sequence of actions of officials, according to their competencies, as well as the time allotted for the task.
Thank you, Sergey. Sure, it is very important to know how to react in difficult emergencies to decrease its impact to the society. Dear colleagues, our conference is going to finishing, and we are very grateful for you to having the opportunity to take part in our conference. We are very impressed by your investigation and the results of your scientific and social activities. I should repeat that it was extremely difficult to find only 9 reports for our conference from dozens that we have got. Special thanks we should say to the Organization of Prohibition of Chemical Weapons for Tsinghua University, Azerbaijan Academy of Emergency, Tashkent Institute of Architecture and Civil Construction, and other participants and attendees who found the time to meet with us. We look forward for the further cooperation between our universities, between institutes and countries. I hope we will see each other the next year at the next conference. Please be free to ask your questions via email if you can find, and you can find these emails in the program. Now, I should say that we are going to prepare proceedings of this conference, and in near future, maybe in months, we will send it to you. And the software for our conference, the EVA software, will hold the presentations and the video of our conference for 2 months, so you can watch it once again. Now I would like to give the words for our participants. If anyone wants to say something, you have the opportunity to do it right now. Okay, thank you for your participation. Thank you for your attention. The conference is finished.